Hello, everyone. Welcome to So What? I'm Ellen March, Director of Content for Sulky of America, and I have a very special So What episode for you all today. We are playing Sulky Bingo! That's right. We're celebrating National Sewing Month, and I have a special guest joining me in a few moments to guide us through a raucous game of Sulky Bingo. This will be, I believe, our third Sulky Bingo. So, for those of you who have participated in our bingo games in the past, you're probably familiar with how to play. And for those of you who have never experienced a Sulky Bingo, first off, I'm so excited for you because, who doesn't love a game of bingo? Am I right? Plus, we have a ton of prizes that we are giving away. So if you do get a bingo on your card, we will let you know what your prize is once you have gone through the motions to redeem that prize. So let me kind of rewind and give you the down low on how this is going to work. First off, in the description of today's post, you will find all the info for how to claim a card and how to play along today. So if you're not seeing the entire description for today's post, be sure to click on that little see more button or more. The whole description will pop out there. You'll find the link to go to claim your card, and make sure you're opening that in a second browser window, okay? So that you can watch So What and hear all the calls and also play along at the same time. Everybody understanding me there? All right. So you should have two browser windows open on your screen where you are viewing So What, either on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. And your other browser window will show your bingo card. So I'm going to show you kind of what that bingo card looks like there once you have claimed a card. Now, one card per person, and we have a limited number of cards. So be sure to grab yours. Let me see here. I'm going to show you what your screen looks like once you've claimed a card. All right, so my card, you can see here, is card number 300. Everybody seeing that in the upper left-hand corner of the screen? Card number 300 is what I have. It says bingo 0. And then underneath that on the left-hand side of your screen, it will say current draw and previous draw. This is where you're going to see the letter and, product, if you will, that's been called. And that way, if you get a little bit behind, you can go through and click those on your card. So once something is called, you're going to go over here and click on that square. So can you all see now that that has turned orange? That's the free space. So everybody can go ahead and click on the free space in the middle there, which is our little Sulky spoolie. It's going to turn orange, and that means that is a, correct call, if you will. You'll notice if I go in and I try to click on something over here, it's going to turn red because we haven't started the game yet, and that hasn't been called. All right. So we're gonna give everybody a little bit of time to sort out. It sounds like there's some password problems in the chat and things like that. So Kathy says, clicked on free space. Everything's working good. Fantastic. All right. And all right. All ready for bingo. Jana says first time. Great. Loving it. If you are having troubles, you can email us at customercare@sulky.com and we will get right back to you. I'm not going to start the game yet so that you have some time to work out any issues you might be having, okay? All right, so I'm going to go back to me here for a moment. So everybody, there are some people having some password problems. The password is Sulky123. Sulky with a capital S, Sulky123. That's the password that you're going to use once you get to the page so that you can claim your card. All right. Colleen, you're hilarious. She says, help if you read all the directions. There are a lot of directions to read through in the description of today's posts. I understand that. So that's why we're not going to start the game for a little bit. I have some, a little bit of business to discuss with you before we get started anyways. So make sure that you are claiming your bingo card. Read through all of the directions in the description. There are directions for what to do when you get a bingo, right? So when you do get 5 across, 5 down, or diagonally, right? When you get a bingo, there's no need to really do anything other than jot down your card number, email us and say, I had card 300. That's my card. I had card 300 and I got a bingo today. Email us at customercare@sulky.com and then we will respond to you for how to redeem your gift. Now, what are the gifts today, you ask? Well, we've got a mixture of gifts, and we will be giving away $25 store credits to Sulky.com. We will also be giving away some education opportunities over on our education site, sewingonline.sulky.com. So you could win a sewing session. You could win a $25 credit at Sulky.com. It's kind of a mixed bag. So be sure to email us if you do have a winning card. We're going to need to know your winning card number, and then we will get in touch with you for how to redeem your gifts. All right, Joan, I hope it isn't too complicated. You just need to go on over to that link, grab up a card, put in your password, and then we'll start playing. All right, let's see. Donna says, got mine and it's working. And don't worry, I'm going to give everybody a little bit of time to come on and get their bingo cards and get ready to go. So while we are all figuring that out, I would also like to let you know that, we had our first day of fall on Sunday. So exciting. So hopefully the air is getting a little bit crisper, a little bit, hopefully you're having relief from some of that summer heat. And that also means that our fall mystery box is now available at sulky.com. If you're part of our e-newsletter list, then you're already aware that our mystery box is ready to go. This one is, I know I'm always saying this. This one's my favorite one. It might just be because it's the latest one and I get super excited about our mystery boxes. We just carefully place all of these goodies inside of the box. So I'm just so excited for you all to open them, find all of your goodies inside, get inspired by these fall makes. There are 3 different digital products that come with this box as well. A mixture of patterns, designs, all kinds of things to get your creative juices flowing. So you can use the items in your mystery box to create those projects that are provided, or you can go off script and do your own thing and create so many things with the items inside. So this one has a mix of fabrics, a mix of blanks, and of course your favorite Sulky threads and stabilizers and a few gifties that we threw in to get you in the fall mood. So this is called our Cozy and Comfy Fall Mystery Box. So hopefully when you open it up, you'll start feeling a little cozy, a little comfy, a little ready to, wrap yourself in a blanket, maybe even start a fire, enjoy the changing leaves, all the great colors that fall brings. So grab up your fall mystery box. They are only available while supplies last. And as always, we have 5 golden tickets spread out amongst these boxes. So not only could you win in bingo today, but you could also be a golden ticket winner if you grab up a mystery box, open it up, and find your shiny golden ticket inside. So 5 people will receive a golden ticket with their fall mystery box. And you know what? Let us know when you open up your box, because that's all part of the fun, right? You can also join our Sulky Stitch and Post Facebook group if you haven't already. Lots of people open up their boxes and kind of share their favorite part of the box or what they made from the box. And it's really fun to see what everybody comes up with. with their, mystery goodies. So super exciting fall mystery box today available. Sharon says, I ordered my mystery box last night. All right. Fantastic. Colleen's already ordered it. Ready to go. All right. So is everybody getting their box? Is everybody getting ready for bingo? Let me just make sure here. We've got some people saying I'm all ready to go. Kimberly's all set. Fantastic. All right. So if you're just joining us, we are playing Sulky Bingo today. And to claim a card, you do need to read the instructions that I put in the description of today's post. There is a link to go to. Just click on that link and open that link in a new browser window so that you can still watch So What on part of your screen and then play bingo on another browser window. So if you can have those side by side, that's kind of your perfect scenario. When you open that link, it's probably just going to pop up on a new tab, maybe even covering up So What here. So you should be able to just kind of grab that tab and open a new window so that you have, two viewing screens in front of you, basically. All right, let's see. Lots of people coming in saying ready, all set. Okay, great. Perfect. We have so much to go through today during this bingo game. You do need to put in the password Sulky123. That's Sulky with a capital S. Sulky123 is the password. And once you do that, you can claim your card. And then this is what your card's going to look like. All right, so it's going to say Sulky up at the top. So instead of BINGO, it's SULKY. All right, so when we get started with our special guest today who's going to be calling the game, you want to click on the items that he is calling. So if he says, you, heat away clear film, you're going to go ahead and click on that, and it's going to turn orange once he calls it. All right, see how it's turning red right now? That's because we haven't started the game yet. I do have my free space already clicked on. That's why it's orange. That means that free space is active. So make sure that you are clicking on your free space. And over here on the left-hand side, it's going to show the current draw, which is the current, let's say it's S polyester invisible thread. That's going to show up here as the current draw. And then you'll see the previous draws. So if you get a little bit behind, you can always click on through using your previous draw. Now, somebody said, how do I announce if I have won? All right, so we're actually going to know the winning card numbers up here. So you need to jot down your card number. Mine's 300. All right, so jot down your card number. And when you do have a bingo, you're going to email customercare@sulky.com with your card number. And then we will respond to that email telling you how to redeem your gift and what you have won. So it's either going to be a $25 store credit at sulky.com, or it's going to be one of our education offerings at sewingonline.sulky.com. All right, so we will let you know what you've won and how to redeem that once you email us with your card number. All right, is everybody with me? All right, Angela says, I don't have 2 blue stripes on the left of my screen. You might need to make your window a little bit larger in order to view that. You might need to scroll up or down depending on the orientation of your screen. Okay, let's see. Oh, Noreen has a great solution. She says if you can't watch on 2 viewing screens on your computer, you can do one on your phone and one on your computer, or one on your tablet, one on your phone. You get the idea. That way you can play the game and watch So What at the same time. Brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. Great tip. All right. Perfect. Suzanne says, I've always wanted to know how to have 2 screens. All right. There you go. Perfect. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to bring on our special guest today. And we're so happy to have him whenever he is available to join us here on So What, because he's a busy man. He's a busy man. So let's bring on Jason Prater, president of Sulky of America. Jason, welcome to So What.
Thanks. Thanks, Alan. I appreciate you having me on and let me crash So What again. It's always one of my most favorite things to do is to get to come on and call bingo and give away some fabulous prizes to our wonderful customers. So thank you for having me.
Yes, of course, of course. We're also celebrating a birthday, an anniversary. What do we call it here for Sulky?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if we're still celebrating that, but so this is our 37th year in business. And well, I started with the company when I was 30 years ago. So it's my 30th anniversary is this year. I've been with the company since 1994. So there you go.
Well,
I
there's
was in the second grade, if you can imagine.
right. Me too. Well, that's great. I love it. There's no better person than to come on and tell us about all of these great Sulky products. You probably remember when they were all launched at this point.
Some of them, yes, some of them. Yeah. Before we get going, I do want to just say to all of our customers, thank you for your business. Thank you for being part of what I consider the best industry in all of the land. It is. Throughout all the years, I've always had people ask me what I do, what kind of business I'm in, and when I tell them I'm part of the home sewing industry, they always have this puzzled sort of look on their face and kind of scratch their heads, and they just don't understand how big our industry is and how significant it is in people's lives. So, anyway, I just always like to acknowledge that our customer base is literally the best out there. And we enjoy serving you with products and education that is fulfilling to your life. It's not something that you have to have, but you choose to spend your money with us, and we're super appreciative of that. So I wanted to start by saying that. And while we sit here and wait, we still got some more cards to claim. I want to go over a few of the rules. I know Ellen has already done a fabulous job of spelling some of it out, but I know some of you are coming in a little later than others. So we're not going to be playing your typical bingo, right? Instead of the letters bingo, we're playing sulky. So we're playing Sulkny. So whenever I make the calls, I'm going to be starting with one of those letters, Sulkny. And then I'm going to be following that not with a number, but with the name of one of our products or one of our educational or other type of fun offering. So you have to listen close sometimes. Some of those products and offerings can sound similar. So just make sure you're listening well, and I'll do my best to enunciate properly and to repeat myself if I feel like I've stumbled. Just give me a little grace there. Um, so yeah, so Sulkny. And look, if you do bingo, if you do sulky, we're gonna call it. I'd love for you to post in the comments just Sulky as though you're yelling out bingo in a bingo hall. And then make sure, as Ellen's already pointed out numerous times, make sure that you have your bingo card number written down so that you can then email us at customercare@sulky.com with that card number, and then we'll respond with how to go about getting your prize and what your prize is. Ellen mentioned that we're going to be giving away some $25 gift cards to our website and also some educational opportunities on our sewingonline.sulky educational site, along with, and she did this, I caught you in one thing, Ellen, you failed to mention that with those educational offerings, you're going to get the kit to make the thing that we're teaching in that offering. So
Oh,
fun, a fun assortment of prizes today. Uh, Also, we're going to keep playing. We're not gonna, if someone sulkies, we're not going to stop and clear those cards. In order to affect more winners more quickly, we're going to continue to play with the same card. So don't clear your card. We're not going to stop the game. We're just going to continue on until we get the next person who wins. Okay. So that's a really important piece of this so that we can give away as many prizes in the time that we've got. Still got several cards available, so I'm stalling out here, starting as we let more people come in and join us.
There are
Um,
some questions maybe you can answer.
sure.
Someone's asking, can you have more than one bingo on the same card?
You can. It is technically possible if you bingo, if you sulky, that if we continue to call, you could potentially win again. So yes, that is technically possible. Not seen it happen too many times, but of course this is what only our third time playing. So I have not. When I've played it in person, everyone only gets a single card, and I've never seen them bingo more than once. But it is technically possible.
Yes, so keep playing even after you've gotten a bingo, cause or a sulky,
Absolutely.
because you may get another. All
Any
right.
other questions we can answer before we get going, Ellen?
Just people are seeing some different views, but I may have explained that already. You know, the current draw and the previous draw might not be on the left-hand side of your card. It might be on the top or bottom of your screen.
Yeah, maybe the experience is a little different depending on if you're using a mobile device, a tablet, or a computer. I would imagine the mobile experience is a little different, maybe.
Maybe you
Oh,
can. Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was going to say, in case you didn't notice my fantastic background, Ellen mentioned that it was the first day of fall. Well, fall down here in the South means college football. And this quilt that you see behind me, my LSU quilt, was made and given to me by Joyce Drexler. And I wanted to acknowledge that because I also want to ask all of our listeners if they are of the persuasion to say some prayers for Joyce. She had a bad accident this past week, broke her leg with a compound fracture, and is currently in the hospital. Um, and so, if you've been a Sulky fan for a long time, you know Joyce, you know how creative she is. She's brought so much to our business, and our thoughts and prayers are with her and Fred right now while she recovers from this terrible accident. So, but I wanted to say that about the quilt because she gave that to me for my birthday about 15 years ago, and it's one of my favorite things.
Yes. There's lots of people coming in and saying prayers. Give Joyce our prayers. Hopefully she recovers soon.
Yes, indeed. All right, we're getting close here. I think so that we don't run out of time before we can give away a lot of prizes. What do you say we get started, Ellen?
Let's do it.
All right. All right. So as I said, we're going to start each call with one of the letters from the word sulky, followed by a product. So, oh, if you haven't done it already, go ahead and mark your free square. All you got to do is click right there on that center square. Mark that guy, because if you don't have it marked, the system's not going to tell you that you've bingoed. So make sure you got that one marked. And also, I want to mention that we're playing traditional bingo here, where you're going to get the winners are only 5 in a row horizontally, 5 in a row vertically, or 5 in a row diagonally. So we're not playing any kind of four corners or square or blackout or any of that kind of stuff. No crosses, no X's. For all you bingo fans out there, we're only going diagonal, vertical, and horizontal. So here we go. The first call, let's make it. So the first call is S Poly Light 60 weight. So as I said before, we got to make this a little educational, right? This is we want to make it fun for everybody, but slide in a little education. Even though I'm not the resident product expert, that would be Ellen. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each product, starting with Polylight 60 weight. So the Polylight 60 weight is a very, very fine polyester thread that is perfect for micro stippling and a quilting application. It's also really, really, really good thread to be used in micro embroidery. So when you're doing machine embroidery with small lettering, you get a much crisper, clearer lettering with the 60 weight thread than you would a traditional 40 weight. So think about things like collars and cuffs where you might need a small lettering. It's the perfect thread for that. And it's also a great bobbin thread, available in 60 colors. 36 of those are solid colors, and then 24 small increment multicolors that I got to tell you are being discontinued as we run out of those. But we have a lot of stock in them. It's going to be a while before those are discontinued. And right now, all of the Polylite is on sale, just so happens. So that's S Polylite 60 weight. Now, the second call, and this one's going to be fun. The second call is also S Craft Tours. S Craft Tours. Now I'm gonna ask Ellen to talk a little bit about that since she just came back from a fantastic trip to Ireland and is about to head to Bali, right, Ellen?
I am, yes, with many of our So What viewers as well. But yeah, we partner with Craft Tours on a number of fantastic trips throughout the year. We have 3 tours scheduled for 2025, even. And we are headed to Bali in, oh my gosh, about a week and a half or so. It's really coming up here. So we are going to be in the land of batiking, really, doing a lot of batik inspired crafts and shopping and fabric shopping. And it's going to be just an amazing, incredible experience. I cannot wait. I know you're jealous, Jason. Uh,
I know. I keep saying, I'm gonna hijack one of these trips and be the host, but it doesn't sound like anybody wants to go with me. So, there's that.
of course, everyone wants to travel with Jason.
Ellen is the star, and no one wants to go travel with me. Darn it.
Well, we're also going to India in March, and this is going to be another fantastic trip that you can check out on our Craft Tours page there at crafttours.com. I put the link directly to our Craft Tours page so that you're sure to find the Sulky tours there on their website. But India is happening in March during the Festival of Holi so that you can experience all the beautiful colors of spring. We just talked about entering fall, but spring is right around the corner, right?
That's right. All right, we're going to move on here. So let's make another call. The next call, oh, well, did you look at that? S Mystery Box. S Mystery Box. Since Ellen's already gone over our mystery box that's coming up, I don't know, I spent a whole lot of time on it, but the cozy and comfy mystery box, and like Ellen said, the newest one's always our most favorite one, right? Uh, these boxes are crammed with just tons of value. And we have so many customers that continue to buy these, and we're so appreciative of it. And we would like to continue to pack them full of fun stuff and introduce you to not only some of our favorite products, but some of the favorite products from our affiliate folks that we work with from an educational standpoint, and just introduce you to new and fun stuff. And then, of course, inside 5 of those boxes are some $50 golden tickets that you can redeem at sulky.com as well. So that was S Mystery Box. All right. The next call is Y Slitting Pin. Y Slitting Pin. Well, if you have been on any So What, I almost feel like this is mentioned in just about every single one of them. This is Ellen's favorite tool of all time, I think. Um, and
It really is.
it is the perfect tool if you use our Sticky Plus stabilizer. If you're working with a product or an item that you don't want to hoop, and so you hoop the Sticky Plus by itself, you need to score and get rid of the paper release sheet on the back side of the sticky plus. Now, a lot of people will use a pair of scissors, a knife, or some other sharp thing. And a lot of times, what happens is you can easily cut through not only the paper but the stabilizer, and now that's ruined the hooping, and you need to redo it. Well, the slitting pin is got just the right sharpness and just the right depth to the pointy tip that allows you to score the paper without scoring or tearing or cutting the stabilizer. So when you're working with those in the hoop things that you don't want to hoop, the slitting pin is the perfect tool for that. Did I miss out on any of your favorite parts of that slitting pin, Ellen?
I think you did a great job. Yes, I
All
was trying to
right.
keep up and put in some photos here of it in action.
All right, moving on. The next call is why organ needles? Why organ needles? Well, I'll tell you why. Everybody should go, but up, bump. Uh, Oregon needles. Oregon is one of the oldest and largest sewing machine needle manufacturers in the world, and Oregon needles. We happen to be the exclusive distributor in North America for a certain type of packaging of theirs. But what's important about Oregon needles is that they are the original equipment from the factory on all Japanese made, Japanese branded sewing machines. So think about the Jukis, the Janomis, the Baby Lock, the Brother. All of those machines come from the factory with an organ needle. And that's really important because those machines are timed in the factory with that needle. So when you're replacing the needle on those machines, using an organ needle is the same as what came from the factory. So that is why organ needles. All right, let's make another call.
We have a
All
question
right.
about the slitting
Nope. Yep.
pen. Maybe you can answer it.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll give it my best before I make this next call. What was the question?
Someone's asking, how long does the point stay sharp on the slitting pen?
Wow, that's a really good question that I am going to be honest, I don't have the answer to. However, I can say this about it. One of our past educators, Ellen Ostin, is the one that originally uh, helped us adopt this item. Our manufacturing partner, Ganold, is where it originated from, and she got that slitting pin many years ago, and still uses it, and has probably slit in the thousands, and it still works just fine. I don't know that we've done a specific test to know for sure how many times you can do that, but I've not seen one or ever heard of an instance of one dulling to the point that it did not cut the paper. So yeah, so I think you're safe.
Great.
All right, our next call is UKK2000. UKK2000. Well, KK2000, if you're unfamiliar with that product, is our temporary spray adhesive. And what is interesting about KK2000, if you've ever used that product, comes in a really small can. And the significance of that is that in our can, it's about two-thirds glue and maybe about a third propellant. Whereas in most adhesive sprays, you have about two-thirds propellant and a third adhesive. And the reason for that is because of the propellant itself. The KK2000 is still today the only non-flammable product on the market. And the what makes that so is that the non-flammable uses inert gases, and those gases are less voluminous. They take up less space in the can than does a flammable gas. So the flammable gases take up a lot more room in the can, and those gases are things like propane and butane. Most all aerosols use those as the propellant to get the contents out. So then the other significant thing about that is when you press the nozzle on one that uses a flammable gas, it's under a lot more pressure. And so it comes out with a lot more force. And that force causes the glue to many times go places that you don't want it to go. You get a lot more overspray, which is the same as just wasting your product, versus the non-flammable that comes out at a slower pace and allows you to direct that spray more precisely onto your project, as opposed to your sewing area, your ironing board, or all of the other places where you don't want that glue to be. So that is our KK2000. All right, let's make another call. The next one is U Twilly. U Twilly. Now, Twilly is an interesting product. It's one of our newer product, and it's actually a fabric, a tackle twill like fabric that is very sturdy and very supported, and super simple to use for making things like badges, emblems, labels, patches, applique. If you've ever seen a pro sports jersey, or even a youth jersey that has large lettering, the number, think about the numbers on a jersey or the lettering across the back. That material is tackle twill. It is a a cotton poly blend, making it very, very durable. And right now we have that in a pack of neutral colors in size 8.25 by 11.5. And we have plans for the future to introduce that in some other colors sold separately, but right now it's only available in that pack. Again, very super useful for making patches and appliques. All right, let's make another call. Oh, another one of our newer fabric type products. The next call was L Felty. L Felty. I know Ellen's probably got some great pictures she's going to show us um, on the Felty. The Felty is really it's really made for doing needlework projects. Unlike some of the craft felts that you might buy in a craft store, Felty was made specifically in mind for doing stitching, both by hand and machine. So any place where you've been using wool felt, our Felty product is a great replacement for that. And it's available in 20 some odd colors, both by the roll and in pre-cut sheets. So if you're into hand embroidery on wool felt, the Felty is a great product, but it's also wonderful in some machine embroidery applications like the picture that she's got showing now of the candy corn. It's super fun product, super stable, and very even. I miss anything on Felty, Ellen?
I don't know. I just love it. It's it's one of my favorite products as well. Use it all the time.
All right, I'm gonna share with everybody the official rule. If you're looking at your bingo card right now and you're going, man, my card stinks. If you say that out loud, you're probably going to be the next one to bingo. I mean, that's just what usually happens, right? If you have like only one of these squares marked right now, usually that's the way it goes. Whoever has that going on is probably going to be the first winner. I don't know. It just somehow always happens that way. Let's make the next call and see if we can get all those people with just one or two another one. So the next call is K Filane. K Filane. Now, what the heck is Filane? Filane is one of our newer threads. It's a heavy 12 weight acrylic product. Now, why acrylic? Well, acrylic is meant to look and feel like wool. So it is a very fuzzy thread, but is very durable. Unlike wool, no one's really allergic to it. It doesn't shrink like wool and is available in 129 colors. And so it's one of the cool things about Filane as a replacement for wool is that with acrylic, you can get much more vibrant colors when you dye. And that's actually true of most synthetic fibers versus a natural fiber. You can get more vibrant, bright colors in it. So in the Filane line, you'll find a lot more more bright, pretty colors than you would in a wool line. Now, the filane is available on some large spools of 440 yards, I believe, in a mini cone. And then on the small spool, like you see in the picture that Ellen has up right now, of 50 yards. Now, why do we put it on 50 yards? What can you possibly do with 50 yards? Well, the 50-yard petites, we call them petites based on their yardage, is more meant for people doing handwork. So if you are a cross stitcher or a hand embroiderer, the 12 weight thread, and this applies to our cotton as well as the filane, the 12 weight thread is the same thickness and same weight as one strand of your typical floss. So if you're used to using one of the top brands of 6-stranded floss out there, our filane 12 weight and our cotton 12 weight, one strand of it is the equivalent of one strand of floss. So, but the beauty is being on a spool, you can pull it off to the length that you want, and it stores better. All of our snap spools have a snap end that you can reel the thread around and snap back down. And of course, all of the numbers are printed on the spool, so you always know what color it is and who the manufacturer is, versus a skein of floss. Once you've taken the little label off the middle, well, you don't know anymore without doing something special to relabel it. You have no idea what color number it was or even who the manufacturer was. Uh, so that was K. Belaine. Let's make another call. All right, here we go. K. Polysparkle. K. Polysparkle. Well, another one of our newer threads, and this one happens to be our newest metallic thread. And what I typically say is probably our easiest sewing metallic thread. It's a poly core with it's actually stranded with polyester thread and one of our hollow shimmer strands. So um, the fact that it's polyester in the core and a good majority of the weight of the thread is polyester makes it sew a little better than some of the other metallics. But what really is the key in all metallics, and it comes in 54 really cool color combinations. So it combines colored thread with gold and silver in different combinations. So some really fun color combinations in the Polysparkle line of 54 total colors. It's about a 30 weight thread. So if you think in terms of your normal embroidery thread, which is 40 weight, the Polysparkle is about a third heavier. And because of that, it can work in just about any of your designs. If you just loosen the density a little bit on the design, Polysparkle can work. Now, with all metallic threads, they are a little more finicky. They don't like tension. And so some of the things that you have to do when you use a metallic thread, including the Polysparkle, is first you got to make sure that you slow the machine down. Just that one simple thing can help in your success rate with a metallic thread. Then you also want to make sure that you're using uh, a larger eyed needle. And now, in a lot of brands, including the organ needles, there is a metallic needle. Well, that needle is similar to a top stitch needle. It just has a larger eye, and so you want to make sure and use either a metallic or a top stitch needle. And we like in either a size 80 or 90. 90 is probably even more preferable. That just makes a bigger hole for the thread to go through. And then one last thing that I always like to point out about metallic threads is all metallic threads, no matter which brand, no matter which type within our brand, we have now 4 different metallic threads. Every one of those has a flat component to it. So the metallic piece itself is actually a flat film that is in many cases includes some type of metal like aluminum or is the most popular. Well, that flat material, if you can imagine, and this is the analogy we like to use the most, is when you pull something flat off of a spool, imagine a roll of toilet tissue. When you pull that off of the roll, you pull it from the side so that it doesn't twist. If you tried to pull it over the edge of the spool, it would twist and curl until it would finally snap. It would create so much tension it would finally snap. And that exact same principle applies for a spool of thread. When you pull metallic thread off the spool, you really need to come from the side of the spool and not over the end of the spool. And where that becomes and how you do that is based on your sewing machine. Many of the first takeoffs are above the spool, so you need to use a device to allow the spool to lie down if you're going to pull it up. In some cases, the spool needs to stand up on the vertical spool pin so that the first take up that's over to the side of it can make the thread again come from the side of the spool. So that is what's important about polysparkle, but all metallic threads, regardless of brand. If you do those things, you will be successful sewing with metallic threads. So that was K polysparkle. K polysparkle. All right, let's make another call. All right, this is one of my favorite products and one of my favorite things to demonstrate. K iron-on transfer pins. K iron-on transfer pins. Oh, it looks like I'm going to come back to the transfer pins, but it looks like we've had our first bingo. And I don't know, Ellen, I didn't see anybody post anything in the comments, but I'm not
They did. Her
looking at
name was
them.
Susan. I put it on the I put it on screen while you were talking, but you were deep in thought, so I did not interrupt.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Susan. Make sure and remember, and it should have been in the messaging that you got, email us at customercare@sulky.com with your winning card number, and we'll make sure and email you back with what prize you have and how to get it. Now, don't clear your cards. We're going to keep going, and the K iron-on transfer pins is the first call since that winner. So the iron-on transfer pins, are really, really cool. And what you can do with those, they're available in 8 different colors, and you can, with just a normal piece of paper, it can be copy paper, it can be notebook paper, it could be a brown paper bag for that matter. If you draw or trace onto paper, it then becomes an instant iron-on transfer that you can then take and turn over and iron that onto any substance that will take a hot iron. So it could be that you're ironing it onto fabric, to canvas. We've done it onto leather. We've done it onto gourds, if you can imagine. Yeah, like a pumpkin or some other kind of gourd, a dried gourd, for then painting or decorating around. So it's super useful. We've done it onto wood so that you can then use it as a guideline for wood carving or for painting on wood. The thing that you always have to remember is that if you've drawn or traced on it, when you turn it over and iron it, you're going to be getting the reverse image. So you always have to be cognizant of that. Uh, Now, how many times can you iron that transfer after having drawn it? Well, it depends on 2 things. One is how heavy you put the ink on. Now, in some applications, if you put the ink on really, really heavy, when you iron it down, you're going to get a very, very vibrant transfer. Some applications you want that, right? You're going to totally cover up those lines with paint or thread or fabric or some other thing. However, in some applications, let's say for hand embroidery or for punch needle, if you draw or trace a pattern onto paper and then you iron it down, you really want the lines to be faint because you may not cover them completely. Now, the fact that they're available in 8 colors helps that so that you can draw or trace using a color that matches the thing that you're going to use to cover the edges with. But another thing that you can do is take that transfer that you've now created by drawing or tracing onto paper. You can iron that down onto some scrap fabric multiple times. Each time you're taking away a little bit more of the ink. It is a sublimation ink. So as you iron it down, you're literally transferring that ink from the paper onto the surface of whatever it is you're ironing onto. So if you do that a bunch of times, you'll see it continually get lighter and lighter and lighter until it finally is as light as you feel is necessary for the thing that you're doing. Now, we have used the same inking 30 to 40 times and still get a transfer. So if you're doing something that's repetitive, like maybe you're cutting out, uh, I don't know, hand drawn leaves to make as appliques, you can iron that down a bunch of times onto your fabric. And now you've got a whole bunch of leaves that you can cut out and use as appliques. So that is K iron on transfer pins. One of our craftiest products, really. Those are great in all sorts of disciplines, not just sewing related disciplines, but in painting and hand working disciplines, as I mentioned, hand embroidery and also um, punch needle. All right, let's make another draw. We still only have one winner. What's going on, guys? Here we go. K clear embroidery tape. Now, I think this is another one of Ellen's recent favorites. Our clear embroidery tape is just a little bit different than most of the embroidery tapes that you find on the market. A couple of things about it. First of all, it comes with in 1 inch widths by 10 yards long, and it's two rolls of that in the package. So you get two 1 inch by 10 yard rolls of the tape, and it is transparent. So when you're using that, let's say you're doing something in the hoop embroidery, and you need to hold down an applique piece. Or a zipper or some other accoutrement that you are sewing down with your embroidery, the clear tape allows you to see through it and see exactly where you want it placed. It's also a really perfect adhesive that doesn't stick to the needle, but still stays stuck to the fabric nicely. So much so that you can reuse that tape over and over again, so long as after embroidering, you've got a large enough piece to reuse. So it's a really great product that tears easily. I mean, super easy in both directions. Unlike some tapes where you can really only tear it in one direction without causing a big fuss and putting a lot of stress on your stitches, this one tears nicely in both directions. So that was K clear embroidery tape. All right, here we go. Next call is L blendables. L blendables. Right now, this is our blendables thread have been around now for, oh geez, I think we introduced them maybe all the way back in 2004, so about 20 years. And we introduced those in sets of 42 colors. And what makes blendables unique and why they're one of our favorite products is that we call them blendables for this very reason. They are not like a traditional variegated or multicolored thread, what we would call variegated or multicolor. Instead, they are colors of the same tone and intensity, and they change colors in a very unique way. Traditional variegated threads and multicolored threads usually, and this is the pattern for most, they'll go 10 to 12 inches of color one, 10 to 12 inches of color two, 10 to 12 inches of color three, and then that pattern repeats itself. Even on the multicolors and variegateds that are short increment changes, they may go 1 inch of color one, 1 inch of color two, 1 inch of color three, then that pattern repeats itself. So if you're using that in an embroidery application or in a quilting application, what happens is you end up with blocks of each of those colors and you end up with a pattern that your eye can see. And now most of the time you just don't want to see that. You want the colors to blend in with your quilting. And so the blendables, what is unique about them is they change colors every 2.5 to 5 inches, and they do so randomly so that you never see a repeating pattern when you're stitching with those. And that allows you to sew across multiple colors of fabric with the same color of thread, and it still blend in very nicely, hence the name blendables. Now, the blendables are available in both our 12 weight, our heavy 12 weight cotton, and in our 30 weight cotton. And there are 126 color combinations of blendables for just about any possible project you can imagine. We've got some really cool Christmas colors, some awesome fall colors. We've got a red, white, and blue patriotic color, even an antique patriotic color and an antique Christmas color. So just about any kind of color combination you can think of. That was L blendables.
You may
get
have
another.
mentioned this
Oh,
and I missed it, but there's a question. Do the blendables come in larger spools?
the blendables do come in larger spools. So the 12 weight is a 300-yard spool, and the 30 weight is a 500-yard spool. Now, in most of the colors, not all of them, unfortunately, but in most of the colors, we have both 12 weight and 30 weight in what we call jumbo cones. And so on the 12 weight, that's a 2,100 yard cone. And on the 30 weight, it's a 3,200 yard cone. So yes, they are available in larger size. So if you have a long arm quilting machine and you need that extra yardage, it's the perfect size for you. All right. The next call is L perfect applique. L perfect applique. Well, perfect applique is one of our newer products also that I guess is kind of loosely part of our stabilizer line, although it's really not technically a stabilizer so much as a tool, if you will, for applique and for achieving perfect applique. What it is a very, very lightweight, um, fusible web, one of the lightest on the market that, when used, even in many layers of applique. So if you have lots of layers of applique in your project, um, when you're using the perfect applique, it is permanently bonding your applique to the base fabric. Um, but even with many layers, you still end up with a really nice supple hand to the finished product. So it's so lightweight that it doesn't affect the hand nearly as much as you might imagine in some. And I don't know if you have a picture of there's one cool project that we used it in, this mosaic. That's actually a kit. It's called the Mandala Mosaic, I believe, where we used that in 7 different layers and still wound up with a very nice, supple, finished hand. It's available in 2 different sizes. We've got it in a 1 yard pack, the package that Ellen just had up on the screen. It's 18 inches wide by 36 inches long. And then we also have a 3 yard roll that is 18 inches wide by 3 yards long. So that is L Perfect Applique. Okay, here we go. Next call is why so what? Why so what? Well, this is why. If you're not tuning into So What, you're missing out on these kinds of fun opportunities. And also lots of fun and good information from one of the best in the business, Ellen. So I think why So What goes without saying. And it looks like that was a really lucky call because we got 2 more winners, I think.
All right.
I don't know. I don't see any names associated with those, but we do have 2 more winners. Make sure if you have those winning cards, make sure that you email us at customercare@sulky.com. Um, maybe we'll see them say so in the in the comments. And remember too, if you're not marking your card, it will not tell you that you've won. So make sure that you're marking your card. I'd hate for these winners to not even know they're winners. So let's keep going. We've had 3 winners so far. Let's have some more. Let's have some more. The next call is USOS. USOS. Well, what is SOS? SOS is the abbreviation for Sewing Online with Sulky. And that is the platform where you can find all of our educational content. And it is literally spelled out sewingonline.sulky.com. There you'll find free webcast. You'll find video cast with a little bit more video content and things of that. And then you also find some sewing sessions that are full on courses put on mostly by our very own Ellen, but a lot of them in partnership with some of our favorite teachers in the market. So sewing online with Sulky is what we affectionately refer to as SOS. Anything you want to say about that, Ellen? What's coming up in
Yeah,
SOS?
I put it on the screen here. Our embroidery session is coming up with designs by Juju Ultimate Phone Case Designs. And we have, of course, fantastic kits that go along with this session as well. This session is going to be activated on October 15th, but you'll want to go ahead and register, get your kit, get everything ready so that when you get your email saying that it's ready for viewing, you can access it at any time. That's the cool thing about the sessions, is that they're totally self-guided and available on demand for you to navigate through as you wish. So this ultimate phone case, you get 7 phone case sizes, and it's done all in the hoop of your embroidery machine. And then you're also going to get a bonus cork key fob design. So these are the 2 colorways of kits that we have available for this session. You can grab these up at sulky.com, have your kit sort of waiting in the wings for you so that when everything is ready for viewing on the 15th of October, you can start at any time.
Awesome. And I see we've got another winner, our 4th winner, Brenda Johnstone. And she actually posted that she won in the comments. Congratulations, Brenda. Make sure that you email us at customercare@sulky.com to claim your prize. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. We still got more prizes to give away. 4 is just not enough. All
Jeannie
right.
says, is SOS the same as online sewing sessions?
It is the platform where our online sewing sessions are. So sewing online with Sulky is what it stands for, and that is where you find the sewing sessions. Yes, so sewingonline.sulky.com. All right, let's make another call. S Stitch and Seal. S Stitch and Seal. Stitch and Seal is an interesting one of a really interesting stabilizer. So if you ever wanted to stitch, specifically machine embroidery, but any kind of stitching on a thing that is waterproof, like an umbrella or a raincoat, or even like a cosmetic bag, the very act of stitching in that thing makes it no longer waterproof, right? You've put holes all in it. So how do you fix that? Well, Stitch and Seal is the way that you fix that. So Stitch and Seal it almost looks and feels like um, the coating on a rubber boot, if you will, a very light version of it. But the way it works is after you've done your stitching, you take a piece of the Stitch and Seal and cut it to about a half to 1 inch larger all the way around than the design that you sewed on that thing that is waterproof. And on the back side of your stitching, you iron that Stitch and Seal to it. And the iron goes directly on the Stitch and Seal. And by doing so, you permanently reseal those holes. And so we've done this on umbrellas, we've done this on rain jackets, and we've done it on cosmetic bags. You think about a cosmetic bag, even though the outside may be fabric, um, the inside is usually a vinyl, and you're sewing through that if that particular bag is not meant for doing machine embroidery on. There's no way to separate those 2 layers, so you're putting punctures inside that bag, and if you spill something in it, it's going to come through the holes and onto your fabric. So resealing it from the inside with Stitch and Seal is the way to fix that and reseal it. So that was S Stitch and Seal. Looks like we had 2 more winners. Two more
All
winners,
right.
Patricia and Helen. Patricia and Helen, I hope that you were paying attention. You did put your name on your card, so I hope you have seen that you are a winner. Oh, I see Patricia did say she's won. Fantastic. All right, let's keep going. I love it. We're giving away lots of stuff. Here we go. The next call is why 40 weight rayon. Why 40 weight rayon? Now, I'm going to tell you why. 40 weight rayon is our flagship product. It is literally the product that helped launch Sulky of America 37 years ago. And it really started several years before that when Fred and Joyce, before they even partnered with our manufacturing partner to begin Sulky of America, had a distribution company. And it was right at the outset of uh, computerized embroidery machines. And rayon was and still is the thread of choice by professional machine embroiderers. And so on the commercial market, rayon was the thread of choice. And what a lot of folks don't know about rayon thread is that rayon, the fiber, is the only fiber that is neither truly natural nor truly synthetic. It is somewhere in the middle. Now, how can that be? Well, it's because rayon is made using cellulose derived from wood pulp. So you can imagine there are trees grown specifically on plantations for making rayon fiber through a process that brings it all the way down to its cellulose and then extrudes it from that point almost like a polyester thread. But of course, it's not. And it is from a renewable resource, unlike polyester and some of the other fibers that come from petroleum. Polyester, of course, is a petroleum based product. It has its place, but rayon, because it has a natural component to it, gives off also a more natural sheen. It's a less plasticky look to it. And you can always see that if you put two embroideries side by side, one polyester, one rayon, you'll notice that the rayon has just a more supple, more natural sheen to it. One other thing that's very interesting about it is that its elongation is less than polyester, meaning it doesn't stretch as much. And in machine embroidery, that's very important, especially if you aren't setting the tensions on your machine properly. If your machine has the top tension set too tight when you're using polyester thread, what happens is when you're done, the thread's going to snap back. And that's where puckering comes from. When you've seen a really badly puckered embroidery, a good chance that the top tension was too tight and they were using polyester thread, where rayon thread doesn't do that as much. It does have some stretch, just not as much stretch or elongation, as it's technically called, as polyester does. And so it doesn't stretch as much during the embroidery process, meaning it doesn't snap back as much either. That is 40 weight rayon. And of course, it's available in the widest color range of all of our threads, 388 colors. And I'm going to tell everybody a little secret. We've got 50 more colors coming in just the next few weeks. You'll see those available on our website. So if you are a fan and if you've been using our rayon thread for a long time, you're gonna want to collect those 50 new colors, all available on the 250-yard spool as well as our what we call a king spool of 850 yards. And it looks like, Ellen, we had another winner. Carrie was another winner. So we've
All
now
right.
had a total of 7 winners, but we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. We've got a little more time left. I think we're pushing our time limit a little bit, but I think we got enough time to make a few more calls here. Someone asked earlier about this next call is L Stick and Stitch. L Stick and Stitch. And their question about Stick and Stitch was, is it the same as Sticky Fabrisolve? And the answer is yes. Sticky Fabrisolve and Stick and Stitch are the exact same product sold under 2 names and in 2 different looking packages. Well, why would you do that, Sulky? Well, we did that because we originally came out with the product and we called it Sticky Fabrisolve. And what it is, it's a fabric like water soluble with an adhesive back on it on a paper release sheet. And we sell that in 8.5 by 11 pre-cut sheets that you can run through your printer or copier and print directly onto the water soluble. But we also sell it in roll form, in 8-inch wide and 12-inch wide rolls. And the reason is because that product can be used in machine embroidery applications. But what we found was a lot of folks liked using it in handwork applications, specifically hand embroidery. The name Sticky Fabrisolvi, however, did not connotate handwork. So we renamed it Stick and Stitch, and the outside of the packaging has a really nice picture of a hand embroidery on it to convey to the customer what it was to be used for. So that's the reason behind it. Stick and Stitch has become super popular with people doing hand embroidery and designers who sell their patterns. Many of them are now printing their patterns on our Sticky Fabrisolvi and selling those patterns. The way it works is super simple. You print or copy or draw or trace directly onto the Stick and Stitch 8.5 by 11 sheets. You can run those through an inkjet printer or a laser printer. You can even put them in a copy machine. And you print your pattern directly onto the water soluble. You then peel that up and stick it down onto the fabric that you intend to embroider on, and then you simply follow the lines. Uh, Once you're done, it rinses away completely. Now, a word of caution, we like to throw this out there. All of our threads and most of the threads of the top manufacturers out there are all color fast. We use this word color fast a lot. Color fast simply means that it's not going to bleed or fade over time. However, in the dyeing process, and you'll know this if you've ever bought a red cotton t-shirt, you never wash that red cotton t-shirt for the first time with lighter colored clothing. Well, why don't you? Well, the reason you don't is because there's extra dye in it. And that extra dye needs a chance to be moved away from the fabric that it's on. In this case, it's a thread on a piece of fabric. So when you wash out the Stick and Stitch, you must be cognizant of if you've used a dark colored thread and a light colored fabric, the first time you wash this, don't just spritz it with water. It will go away. The Sticky Fabrisolvi or Stick and Stitch will dissolve with just spritzing it in water. It'll even dissolve if you just submerge it in water and kind of wiggle it around. And then if you take that out and you scrunch it up and drain the water out or wring the water out and just set that down, you haven't given the ink, any excess dyes, a chance to move away. So our recommendation is always to submerge, but also agitate, and preferably in like your washing machine in that amount of water to be sure that all of the excess inks are pulled away from the thread and away from the fabric that you're sewing on. It's not that there's something wrong with the thread. It's just that in heavy dark colors, a lot of the time, the rinsing cycles that go on in the manufacturing process simply can't get all of the dye, the excess dye out, just as it is in clothing. So I like to point that out. But the Stick and Stitch, wonderful product for hand embroidery and other handwork applications. And I think we had another winner. We're up to 8 winners, I believe. Kay Richter. Kay Richter looks like was another winner. I
All
hope she's
right.
paying attention. All right. I think we're getting really close to our time limit here. I think we've got time for one more call, Ellen. Or let's say this, we're going to call until we have at least one more winner. How's that?
Sounds good.
All right, here's the next call. The next call is you heat away clear film. Well, that did the ticket. There were 3 more winners. Look at that. Judy, Ramona, and Andrea. Judy, Ramona, and Andrea. Make sure you email us. But look, even though I said we were going to call for one more winner, I'm not going to let you get away without telling you about Heat Away Clear Film. So Heat Away Clear Film, if you've never used this product, this is one of our unique stabilizers. Um, if you need a topping for a product that you don't want to get wet, for example, velvet or suede, if you're going to do embroidery on those things, you typically don't, they have a little bit of a pile to the fabric in felt or suede. Uh, where in most cases, when there's a pile to the fabric, you would use a water soluble topping. But in those things, you don't want to wet them. You don't want to wet your felt or velvet. You don't want to wet your suede. So you would use heat away clear film. And what that does on top of the embroidery is it allows your stitches to sit up on top of the embroidery and not fall down into the pile. And then the cool thing about it is how it's removed. It's removed with the heat of your iron. And so you can take an iron and put it directly on to the heat away. Key is motion. You're going to want to keep your iron in motion when you begin to remove it. And what happens with that is the product starts to break apart and then it rolls up into tiny little balls. And the reason is because of this. So if you've got uh, if you've ever used heat shrink film, right? What happens when you hit it with ink? It shrinks up. Well, the heat away clear film is that same exact material, only it's been perforated so that when it starts to shrink due to the heat, it breaks apart into a bunch of little pieces. And then the motion of your iron balls up those little pieces to the point where you can just sweep them away. So that is what heat away clear film is, what it's for, and how you get rid of it. Well, Ellen, I think that was all the time we had today. We're at 1:15. We've had 11 winners that we're ready to give prizes to, and we've got to talk about a lot of fun stuff.
We have
Thank you for having me on for bingo.
so many people are saying they learned so much from you today. You've got such insider info. We have to have you on here more often.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. Again, I am by no means the resident product expert, but I've sold these things for long enough now where I have to know a little bit about them anyway, right? Uh,
You know a lot. You know a lot. And actually, maybe you can answer this one. I think this is a great question. Can you use the high setting on a blow dryer to remove that heat away? Something I've never even thought of.
you know, blow dryers come in all makes, models, and grades, just like irons. And so that's a good question. I'm not sure. I would say, and I know for sure, you can use a heat gun that is made for using on heat shrink film. There are heat guns out there that are made literally for plumbing applications where you can heat up PVC pipe to bend it a little bit. Um, Whether or not a typical hair dryer gets hot enough is not something we've ever tested. So, whoever asked that question, I would love for you to test it and let us know uh, with your particular hair dryer. If it works, that would be fantastic to hear. The cool thing is you can actually stick your iron directly on the heat away clear film, and as long as you're keeping it in motion, it's not going to create any residue on your iron. But yeah, we'd love to know if you test it out. Please go on our Facebook page and share it with us so we can share it with the rest of our customers.
Yes, thanks for saying that because a couple of people did say, will it stick to your iron? They're kind of afraid to put their iron on there, but it doesn't. It's
Yeah,
really
it's
cool.
amazing. Yeah, the stitch and seal is another product that you might be shy about putting your iron on, but miraculously, it does not stick to the iron. So, yeah,
Yeah, it's really great if you're embroidering on a towel that you're going to gift away, as long as the towel can withstand the heat of the iron, then you don't have to wash away a topper and then give somebody, a gift that has been washed or wet and dry. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of a great application for it. All right, everyone was saying I was well, not everyone, so close. Please call some more. Please come back for bingo. So we're going to have to schedule another one here, Jason, pretty soon.
yeah. I've been looking for a way. We've done this several times now, and maybe we'll find a way at some point to spice this thing up. We don't want to bore everybody with the same information every time, even though we know there's always new people on, and there's a lot that they may not have ever heard. But for those that come a lot, we don't want to tell them the same stuff over and over. So I'm looking for a creative way to make this fun, or maybe even a different game. Who knows? We might surprise them with something different.
Oh, it's fun. Come on now. No one's bored. Everyone's into it. Well, thanks again for coming on today, Jason. I know you're a busy guy, so we'll let you get back to it. And
Thanks for having me, and thanks to all of our customers for tuning in and having some fun with us today. We'll do it again soon.
Absolutely. And thank you all so much for being with us today. Crystal says bingo never gets boring, right? Betsy says, we're not bored.
Thank you,
Just call
Crystal.
some more. Call some more. And we all
Thank you,
need
Crystal.
refreshers on this stuff, says Heather, of course. You know,
Love it.
that these people aren't surrounded by this stuff like we are all day long. So it's really great to connect with all of you and to familiarize, yourself with some more of our products. And what better way to familiarize with some things maybe you've not tried before than grabbing up one of our mystery boxes. You can head on over to sulky.com and claim your fall mystery box today. You might be a winner of one of the golden tickets. If you were not a winner at bingo today, you could still get lucky. So try your hand at our mystery box and you won't be disappointed. You might even find some things in there that you've never used before that maybe you heard about on today's So What special bingo edition. So grab one of those up and let us know how you like it. We can't wait for you to see what is inside. So be sure to tune in next week as well for another So What, and I will see